you know, I've got to talk about your lightweight division for a second because there was a lot of that talent on display today, and I know you'll have an opinion. I know you've got a matchmaker in Ian Dean, but you know he's going to be spoiled for choice, making some matches and making a next title fight. Have you got any views on perhaps who Stevie Ray's next opponent should be?
Where do we go, man? where do we go? I mean, that lightweight division, you got Rogers, Duffy, you got Demir in Copenhagen as well. You know, that lightweight division is so stacked. It would kind of be unfair to give any one person an next shot because there's somebody that would deserve to have the shot at Stephen. We'll talk. Myself and Ian will have some conversations this week and talk about who's next. And
you mentioned
we crowned a new women's featherweight champion today. Next year, will there be more focus on the men's new titles like the light heavyweight and flyweight title?
Yeah, the flyweight title, I think we've got a 2-horse race in that, so we'll probably get that out soon. It's just a case of dating it and picking an event for it. The light heavies, we want to have a little more development in that division, and the females, we'll look to see if we can build them a little bit deeper and get some more challengers involved as well. Yeah.
You mentioned about the women there. At Cage Warriors 69, you was talking about possibly putting on an all-female show, and then also the Cage Warriors Academy to make a full weekend of the events. Yeah. Is that something that you're still looking to do, or has that been put on hold for a while?
I'll try and open the year with that. Yeah, we will try. We'll put our best efforts into opening the year with a weekender. Yeah.
Would it be the amateurs on the Friday, women, and then men on the Sunday?
We'll do something else. We'll probably do an amateur night Friday. We'll hit the Cage Warriors numbered event on the Saturday, and then maybe do an all women's on the Sunday. Or it might be the other way around. It could be an all women on the Friday, the Cage Warriors number on the Saturday, and then amateur on the Sunday. So we'll see.
Have you got a location where you'd be looking to do it?
We haven't nailed any of them down yet. The next 6 weeks will be all about nailing down the TV contracts of 2015. There's a lot of stuff up for negotiation, and we got a lot of offers from networks that I need to sit down and go through. So the next 4 to 6 weeks for me will be contracts, paperwork, and business. Yeah.
As far as the TV deal, I've heard rumours of extra programming coming on from Channel 4. Is that something that's likely to take place in the near future?
Yeah. We're Channel 4 here tonight. They love the event. Love what they saw. You know, we give them a little tour around the place, and we're going to speak with them in the next 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks as well, and get everything nailed down and get it all up into the open out to you guys.
What are your plans for Danny Roberts once he's fit and ready? Do you see him as the #1 contender to Dolby?
I think so. Yeah. It's going to come down to scheduling and timing, and providing both dates or both guys are available on a certain date. And yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Another big talking point that we all look forward to: Tom Breeze's return. What did you make of his performance coming back?
He hasn't fought for a while. You know, I think the last-minute replacement opponent he had was a lot tougher than a lot of people probably gave it credit for. We knew the kid, and we knew it was going to be a good fight. Tom got a good test. He got some cage time, and that's what we needed. I mean, if he went in and he finished the fight in the first, say, round or was in and out, it could have been a little bit worse off for him because he needed that time to shake off any kind of cage rust that he had from the injury and not competing, getting used to the lights again, and so yeah, it was good. Good for him. He got cage time.
And obviously, Wheeler and Mcguire was cancelled at the last minute. Is that something you look to book again?
I'd love to see that fight on again. You know, that fight was probably the people's main event. You know, had fight of the night written all over it. But I got a phone call, I think it was at 12 o'clock today, saying John wanted to talk to me. I went to see John, and I pulled the fight with John. John would happily still fought, try to. But you've got to step in, and regardless of tickets sold or fights that fans want to see, we've got to put safety first. And fighters need protecting. You know, as tough as they are, they need protecting, and I pulled that fight. Yeah.
You mentioned about fight of the night there, that potentially being that one. Instead, I think it was a clear cut decision for Wilde versus Carter.
Yeah,
what did you make of that fight?
That was a crazy fight. Absolutely crazy fight. The kind of fight you just don't want to see it end, and you don't want to see a winner, or a loser. Really good. Tim is a great prospect, and I think he'll just bounce back from that. But
I think he proved in that as well that he's a legitimate fighter, whereas beforehand he's not really had the names on his record that backed it up too much.
Yeah, and you know, same for Sean too. You know, they both did an awesome job. It was entertaining, and I'd like to see that again actually.
Your next event is obviously Dublin, New Year's Eve, one of your flagship shows. Can you give us a taste of what we can expect on that card yet? It's only 7 weeks out.
No, you can find out next week. Next week we'll tell you everything.
Also, we understand that there's a new signing, perhaps from another organization that's coming your way. The press officer certainly had a chat. When are you going to drop that name?
This week. This week we'll drop it on. There's a lot of new signings. There's a lot of stuff under the hood that we haven't released yet that we'll work on getting on the next week or so. Yeah.
Your main event tonight was Denmark versus Norway. How much do you enjoy introducing all these new countries into the Cage Warriors title picture?
Sorry, what was the question again?
How enjoyable is it for you to introduce all these new countries like Norway? You're introducing Norway MMA in a sense to the UK MMA scene. How much do you enjoy that? I wouldn't say it's an enjoyable thing, but it's great for the brand, for us to prove that we're not a local show. I mean, we flew in fighters from 10 different countries for this event. There's no one can say that Cage Warriors is a small-time local show. It's an international event. We visit over 10, 12 countries a year, and I think there'll be a lot of stats. At the end of every year, we do a lot of little statty info fact files, and you'll see there's some big numbers on how many countries we've visited, how many fights we've put on, how many international fighters we've signed, brought in, flown in. So yeah, it's great to have so many countries linked into the brand and so many people watching. Yeah, there's a lot of people watching tonight. Yeah.
Another fight that was pulled from the card was Arnold Allen. Unfortunately, there was nobody that would step in at short notice to take the fight. Mm-hmm. Who do you think is going to be next for Arnold? He mentioned he wanted to fight as early as he could to start next year.
Yeah, well, we're actually going to try and get Arnold a fight if we can on another show. We're going to look at what shows are still available this year, and if there's a fight there from someone, we'll try and get him help to get him on there so that his camp's not wasted. The one thing that really gets to me is a fighter getting a camp, putting in an 8-week camp, and then getting wasted for nothing. That I'm in the gym with these guys. I train with a lot of them. I spar with some of them in the gym, and when you see the work they put in and they don't get to compete or fight, it hurts. So we'll work as hard as we can to get maybe Brad and Arnold a fight before the end of the year somewhere. We'll see. Yeah.
So does that mean there's another show on top of the Dublin one?
It doesn't have to be our show. I mean, there should be plenty of shows on around Europe that we can approach a few promoters and say, look, these two guys are ready. They've had a camp. When's your next show? Do you want them on? And if it means that we have to, or I have to maybe financially help out some way to get them to fight on those shows, then yeah, so be it.
During the interval, there was obviously the Hippodrome girls coming out doing the dancing and stuff. Is that part of a contract with you and the Hippodrome? Is that something we're going to see sort of going forward?
It's more of a London thing. The Hippodrome are partners and sponsors with us. We've got an after party with them tonight, and it's more of an exposure for them as a thank you to for them getting on board. It's not easy to get corporate firms and bodies to come into the sport. It's looked at as a blood sport.
Where all the weigh-ins of the London shows take place.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if any of you made the weigh-ins, but the weigh-ins at the casino and the Hippodrome in London are fantastic. Awesome setup. Awesome sound system. It works really well. It looks good. So yeah, we'll work with them as long as we can.
Is this the new home of Cage Warriors in London, or is it back to the Forum next year?
That's a good question. I don't think we'll do the Forum again, but it's not been easy working this venue. There's been a few behind the scenes things where just awkward. There are better venues and easier to work with. Yeah.
And were you happy with the ticket sales for this event?
Yeah. We never thought we'd fill the arena, but it was just under maybe about 3,000, 2,800 filtered in throughout the whole night. So yeah, it was good.
I know you usually have a little bit of time to think about performance awards, but is there any fighters that have stood out for you tonight? Any fights that you personally, thoroughly enjoyed or anything?
Duffy's KO was pretty spectacular. That was something else, and I love watching that last fight with Nicholas and Mawson. That was a war.
Nathaniel Wood makes an argument that he threw the head kick that broke the arm that ended the fight by TKO. Is there a little bonus in his future? I think he was wondering.
Yeah, he did good, man. He did good. I mean, I spoke to Stephen's corner halfway through the Derby fight. They're in hospital. Stephen needs surgery. I think he's already got a plate in his arm, and so he'll be staying in London for a couple of days. He got surgery tomorrow. 2 bones are broken. 2 bones in his arm are broken. So he'll have surgery tomorrow, and probably Monday, Tuesday we'll get them back home. Yeah.